Consulting versus analysis. Oh, same thing? Spoiler. Not even close. I'm doing a college podcast asking the real questions: how they solve problems, what tools they swear by, the mistakes new grads keep making. In 45 seconds, consultants talk strategy and client chaos. Analysts handle data and patterns. Together, they turn messy info into smart moves. We'll demystify titles, reveal quick career tips, and share one truth every student needs to hear. Curiosity beats credentials when you start. Subscribe for short Q&As that make careers less scary and way more doable. Drop your burning question in the comments. I'll ask it on the show.
Okay, sir. So hi Manik, Sushant this side. Thank you for being part of my podcast.
Hi, Sushank.
Okay, so let's start with my first question. Tell me about your college life. Like, how was it?
Well, my college life, if I summarize both my bachelor's and MBA in one sort of summary, it had been very happening. I had been an introvert before college, but once I stepped into college, I got exposed to a variety of things that we can do. So it's been full of fun as well as very late night academic sessions, brainstorming sessions, and overall it had been great.
Okay, like, did you join any club or any extracurricular activities do you perform? Like, can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I did. I did get chance to join two, three clubs in these all those years. As I told you, I was an introvert. I was mainly into debating, so I joined a debating society, mainly
Okay.
Model United Nations, and then if I joined a technical society as well. It was a cloud computing society where
Mm-hmm.
we participated and organized hackathons uh, in in our college, and we invited many other colleges around Patiala also to participate. So yeah, we I had a great time collaborating with people.
Okay, so like, from which college did you bachelor's and master's?
I did from Thapa University, Patiala.
Okay.
Yep.
And now currently you're planning to pursue an executive master's, right?
Yes,
From
I
which
am.
university?
Toronto Metropolitan University, Canada.
Okay, okay, that's great. So then my second question will be like how to manage, like how, like, will you suggest a college student like how to manage 9 to 5 and next five
Sorry,
to
can you
nine?
come again? I lost you.
Okay. I'm asking like how will you suggest a college student like how to manage 9 to 5 and 5 to 9?
I lost you again. Maybe it's lagging, but I can only see your video, but not audio.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible.
Okay, okay. So I'm asking like how will you suggest a college student to manage 9 to 5 and 5 to 9?
Oh, so once you start working
Once they
or
start,
during
like
college?
you can take during college. I would say like I'm a college student. I would like insight.
Well, during college, I would say keep it light. Don't take a lot of stress. Don't think you're supposed to study beyond your college hours. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
academics are important, but once you start working, you realize your college life is never going to come back. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
do be a good student. Don't be someone who is failing or continuously being a being someone who is not good at academics. Be a good student, but at the same time ensure that you have a lot of soft skills, you have a lot of extracurricular exposure, because
Mm-hmm.
hard skills anyone can learn. Do a certification, do a course, and you would learn a hard skill. But these soft skills, your the way you communicate, the way you manage things, the way you organize things, that is something you would only learn by extracurriculars. So have fun.
Yeah, okay. So basically, you're focusing on having much more fun.
Yes,
Uh,
that would be my advice.
okay. Okay, okay, okay. So, like the very next question is how did you get manage to get internship?
I use
And where
LinkedIn
did
for
you get
that.
it?
Yeah, I use
Sorry?
LinkedIn for that. I use LinkedIn for
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Mm-hmm.
even before coming to the internship part, even during my college time, as I told you, I was part of a technical society. So we did
Mm-hmm.
organize hackathons, and we did gain a considerable experience in doing what we do. And I built a portfolio for myself. I
Uh-huh.
and based on the portfolio, I went through LinkedIn. I got my first internship through LinkedIn. It was a completely remote internship because the company was based in Pune. But yeah, through LinkedIn to answer your question.
Okay, so which company was it?
It's Incentious. It's a software startup.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like how did you trans shifted your focus from engineer to an analyst?
So we did have an entire semester dedicated to internship, and so in that semester we had two options: either to pursue an project, either to pursue an industry internship, or to
Hmm.
have a college project. So people
Okay.
who landed internship, they went for that, and I was one of those. And the way I transitioned was, it was a hard transition. Of college and corporate are two very different cultures, and I did have a hard time in the start because in the college, or in any academic environment, you are used to being someone who can rely on other people. You don't understand one thing, okay, we can reach out to people to understand, but in corporate, the dependency is very less. You people reach out to you for stuff. So most of the times, if you are facing an issue, you have to figure it out on your own, and your last option is to reach out to someone to understand something. So that I
Okay.
found the hardest part, but yeah, I did get used to it in few weeks.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So like as you said, you mentioned it earlier on your profile also that you're working in Deloitte, right?
Mhm.
So how did you manage to get that? Like as an analyst student and being in both consultancy and analyst domain, I would like to get an insight as a dream company of mine also.
Well, it was my dream company too. So I mean,
Okay.
not just Deloitte, working in Big Four, any of the Big Four firm was a dream. So, but I've been
Mm-hmm.
fortunate enough uh, to be studying in Thapa, and all these companies used to visit the campus for placements, and that's how I bagged Deloitte. If you want to know about the sort of procedure that they follow in campus placements,
Yeah, I would love to hear that. Like, what
yes.
sort of question they asked and how did it go?
Yeah, so they have multiple rounds for their hiring process from campuses. The first is a very standard round, which is aptitude test. So you have, and
Okay.
that's not just for Deloitte. Many of the companies that come for placements,
Yes.
you'll have to go through the test. So that's one. Once your aptitude test is cleared, there's a round of resume shortlisting, if I remember it correctly. So you need to have a resume to suit your job profile that is being offered from Deloitte or any other company for that matter. Third process was a group discussion.
Gee,
So
yes.
we were organized into, I think, 7 to 8 people in one group, and we were given topics to discuss the issues or the topics, whatever that was. I don't remember what the topic was, but yeah, that was the process. And after
Okay.
the group discussion, there was the last personal interview round, which was again segregated into two parts. First was technical, second was HR round.
Mm-hmm.
And in the technical round, you would be asked questions related to your domain, job profile. In our college, they were offering around 7 to 8 profiles, and we had applied for the one profile that we want. So based on your
Mm-hmm.
profile, the technical questions were asked, and then the HR round, very casual questions about managing, the same questions, sort of questions you asked me, same sort of questions would be asked in the HR round.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, moving on to next question, like, what kind of challenges you faced in the initial period of while you joined Deloitte, and how did you manage to cope up with your seniors, and yeah, how was the environment?
Uh, well, the environment was very welcoming, but I'm sure outside the company also there's a reputation of Big Four having a very toxic culture and a lot of work
Mhm.
stress.
Yeah,
While I would,
recently we got to heard about the, like some company CEO was talking about you should work on Sundays also. So like
yeah, I remember we were talking about that was probably Infosys or
in
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Infosys, yeah,
Narayan Murthy.
yeah.
Yeah, but so working at Deloitte, I would say the work hours are stretched, no doubt. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of work pressure, but at the same time, when you're starting your career with a company like Deloitte, you get a lot of exposure. Like I can't even begin to, describe the sort of exposure I got at 22 years of age. So we had a client facing team in US, we had a backend team in India, and I got the opportunity to represent both the teams. I've been fortunate enough to work on a project that was funded by their federal government. So a lot of exposure we got because it's a huge company and they provide internal support in terms of certifications, in terms of career progression, which is what I'm going for now. It had been good.
Okay, okay. So like, and what are the skills that were focused? You were focused on mainly, and
For this role.
yeah, for the role.
As a data analyst, the first skill I would say would be Python. That is
Mm-hmm,
must have, and for that I
mm-hmm,
don't think so I would recommend any certification or anything. It's an open source language, so use YouTube, use Google, use books, whatever you want to use. Just you need to be proficient at Python. That's one. Second, SQL and Excel, they both are must if you're
mm-hmm.
working with data. Advanced Excel, not normal plus minus. You need to
I guess
be.
Excel, nowadays Excel is the common, tool
It
to learn.
is, but I've seen, even with me when I first joined, I wasn't very proficient with Excel. But
No, I
I,
mean,
I
not in that way common. I'm saying like everyone should, focus on Excel
yeah, yeah.
nowadays. That,
Correct,
okay.
correct. Even if you have very less data, na, we should still go ahead and create pivot tables and apply Power Queries. We can do a lot with Excel also, and we should start becoming proficient with that. But that is something I would say is not a prerequisite. That is something you would keep learning once you start working. But Python and SQL are prerequisite. You need to be proficient with SQL and Python. And then of course these Excel, as I said, and Power BI and Tableau, all these are products. These you will get efficient when you start working on it hands on. But the
Mhm.
technologies are SQL and Python that you need to be proficient with already.
Okay, okay, okay. So the main
Hmm.
what you would like to, like you're focusing on Python and SQL. Okay. So like any like as you said, we like
Hmm.
Python is open source language. So and you can learn it. But any specific certification or would you recommend or have you done any certification that you
Yeah, I
would like
did.
to
I
recommend
did.
to?
I did through Coursera, not for Python, but for
Okay.
SQL. There was this
Mm-hmm.
some Google data analytics sort of certification. A
Mm-hmm.
professional, it was a professional certification from Coursera,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay,
it,
okay.
it, it did help me get me a strong foundation in SQL, in data cleaning and data visualization, dashboarding. So a lot of things. It was a very helpful certification. I would recommend that as a starter.
Okay. Any other platform you're aware of
Apart
rather
from,
than
I mean,
Coursera?
Coursera, I found the most reliable one.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, we had that student discount something, or that we didn't
Yes,
have to
yes, yes.
pay for it. This universities and colleges pay for that. That's why I went for that. Apart from that, Udemy and LinkedIn Learning are also good platforms, but then they
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of varieties, lot of courses. So it's very, I get very cluttered and frustrated very easily. Coursera was very clean and very specific, specialized certifications were
Mm-hmm.
there. That's why I would prefer Coursera.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like we are moving towards the end, like just two more few questions and we're done. So
Hmm.
like any career advice? Like how to
Any
shape
career advice?
the career. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
For career advice, there's no hard and fast rule. First of all, for if you're talking generically, working in corporate, then I would say be someone who is presentable enough, have great communication skills, which not everyone will have, but you can work on it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to step out of your comfort zone, start collaborating, start expanding your horizon. So if you're a college student, the best way to do that is joining student clubs. That gives you a lot of confidence because you actually get to interact with a lot of people. So having soft skills in terms of presentation, communication are must, because once you start working, there's one thing as working and there's one thing as reporting what you are work. If you're only working but you're not good at reporting and communicating what you are working, your work makes no sense. It's so you have to work hard as well as smart. If you work something, you should be smart enough to present that you have worked this and the impact that your work have created. So soft skills, if you're talking about generic advice, and if you're talking specifically about people who are aspiring to be a data analyst, I would say that there's a lot of uh, there's a lot of content on search engine these days. There are a lot of ways to get junk data from web.
Mm-hmm.
Try importing all those datas. Even if that makes no sense to you, start refining those datas, automating the refining through Python. There are many libraries that you can use like pandas or numpy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're about to say something.
Okay. So no, 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 no.
Okay, so start cleaning up that data using Python, and then if you want to get proficient at SQL, start querying the data. That will give you a lot of confidence in building SQL queries, and then you can also to a great extent you can use Power BI or Tableau also to make dashboards that you will actually use in corporate for the leadership to view those kind of views. So these all things you can do. A lot of things are open sources. You can use all of this before even before you get ready.
Okay, so you're saying that practicing is the main key.
Yeah, practicing is the main key if you're talking about hard skills, technical skills.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is that
Uh,
so?
don't only rely on certifications. They are good, but
Okay.
if you don't have hands-on exposure on it, it makes no sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last and the final question of the podcast, if it like, so any real life project that you have
Mhm.
worked in this past 2 years while working in Deloitte?
Yeah, I we worked on multiple projects, but the latest one that I worked on was, as I told, for state of New York. So we were building their healthcare system. Uh,
Okay.
the system through which the citizens would apply for benefits and then they would start receiving benefits. So the sort of data that we used to get was entire demographic. So think of it as any insurance website in India, you would have to add all your details, your sensitive details, for example, PAN number, your Aadhaar number, your passport number for that matter. All these data you have to add. In US, all these things are very standard with just one number, which is their social security number. So based on that, it's a very sensitive data. So they used to add
Okay.
all of their demographic details. So and based on those details, there were many interfaces that we had from our system with their federal and state data sources. So we used to fetch data from their data sources about these individuals using their SSNs. And so we had a lot of data from clients from their databases, and then we had to mask that data so that us engineers or anyone could not see that data also, because that's their
Oh,
government data. Yeah, so
okay.
yeah,
Looks
so
kind of hectic.
it was very hectic, but I got the exposure very early on, and I'm glad
Hmm.
to have that. Glad to have gotten that experience. So just it
Okay,
was
like
just to give you a gist that you'll deal with a lot of data, and most of the times this data will be not be clean data. It will be a very
mhm,
random raw data, and that is
raw
why we are
data.
using, yeah, and that's why we're using all these technologies and platforms to make sense out of this data. Now, if you want to know how we use this data and why are we cleaning this data, what is the, I mean, why is the data analyst
Point of
required?
yeah.
You know,
Uh,
so let's say our client is state of New York and they have this 10-member team, their state team that is over there, and
mhm,
they want to get insights into what kind of people are applying for benefits, how many people are getting benefits, what's the amount of benefits they are getting. There's so many trends and data sets, patterns we can get from the data, right? So we have to create those dashboards for them, those so that most of the people who are at leadership level, they will not go through the technical stuff. They will just go through the dashboards on Jira or any tool that you are using. So that's why we need to clean up the data and then make sense out of it, and then make widgets and dashboards on these Power BI tools. So yeah, that's what you do.
so any last like any cheat code to like
Cheat code.
happy life in corporate?
Cheat code in professional life would be you shut down your laptop once your time is done. Not if you're working
Okay,
at Deloitte. If you're working at Deloitte, keep working for as long as
okay,
your manager wants you to. Okay.
okay,
But no, on serious lines, your cheat code would be in the first few years, focus on learning more than it's a toxic advice, but more than work-life balance, focus on learning. You would get work-life balance once you are proficient enough to be at a level where you can make your work done in the stipulated time. But until you
mhm,
get to that level, I would say focus on learning. That will also help you in your career. If you see people who don't have much knowledge at higher positions, uh, they might get promoted once or twice, but down the line, they're gonna stay there only. But if you have a great foundation in the start, you'll keep progressing ahead.
okay. So,
Yeah.
like, can you tell me how you feeling about like as you're moving abroad for your masters? Just an insight, how you feel?
It. I'm actually very excited. After 2 years of working, I'm excited to be a student again. But more than that,
Okay.
it's going to be a hard transition back from being a full-time employee to a student now. Uh, but since it's a
Mhm,
specialized program, I am excited to study, and that's only going to help progress in my career. And the program that I'm going to study is going to sort of open doors for me in Canada as well as in India. So I'll have an option to
mhm.
come back to Deloitte as well.
Okay,
So yeah,
that's
I'm
nice.
excited.
So, okay, so I hope you manage your 9 to 5 and 5 to 9, as you said.
I
You
hope,
also
yeah.
get to enjoy.
I'll try
Okay,
my best.
okay, okay. Thank you so much, Manik, for being here
Thank you for
and
having me.
taking out your precious time for this podcast. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you so
bye.
much for having
Thank
me. Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.